I want you to all watch this video to the end, because in this video I'm going to expose all of the tech giants, the rich and the mighty men. Okay? I'm going to show you what's coming upon this world, and this world's not ready. All of the rich tech giants are bringing the mark of the beast. And not only are they bringing the mark of the beast, they're also building doomsday bunkers to escape God's wrath when they've enforced this on the earth. I've got all the evidence and the proof back to back in this video. From depopulation to palm payments to chip payments to admission of Donald Trump of the mark of the beast. They're going to have a 666. I have put everything together that I can find. News reporters reporting on it. Everything is in this video, so please watch it to the end. They are without a shadow of a doubt working for the Antichrist, who I believe is Donald Trump. Now, from Jeff Bezos, we expose Jeff Bezos and Amazon. We expose Bill Gates. We expose Mark Zuckerberg. We expose Elon Musk. And we expose Donald Trump. We expose them all. You're going to see that they all have their own job in enforcing the mark of the beast on the planet. Amazon taking control of all of the stuff you buy online. Okay? Mark Zuckerberg owning Meta, Facebook and all these things. And he wants to merge your body with wearable technology. The plan is to get inside your bodies. The plan is to put the technology in your body. They're getting on the body. They're taking control of all of the products. They're taking control of the financial system, the digital currency, everything. They're taking control of the lot. The tech giants are building the mark of the beast system for Donald Trump. That's why they own everything. Everything we use, these tech giants own. It all. And they're all bringing the mark of the beast technology, so the world better wake up. This isn't a video to scare you, this is a video to prepare you. You're going to see in this video how evil they are. They are very evil men. The whole world's being deceived from America. First, I'm going to start off by reading you Bible verses back to back. I'm going to read you these Bible verses. Then I want you to watch all of these clips I've put in together, right to the end. The mark of the beast is coming. It's coming upon the earth. Agenda 2030 is the mark of the beast, of the book of Revelation in the Holy Bible. So let's start with this great city that deceives the world and all the kings got rich with, and it sits on many waters, and I think that's America. So Revelation 17:1-2, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of their fornication. So this city that sits on many waters, the whore, that all the kings got rich with, that all the inhabitants have been drunken with, that gets destroyed, is America. It sits on many waters, this great city full of wealth. Okay? So, it's talking about America, deceiving the world. It says in Revelation 18:23 about this city, this great city that we've just read about. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. All nations were deceived through sorcery. Sorcery translated to Greek is pharmakeia, it's medicine. So we know that all the nations are deceived by medicine from this great city that sits on many waters. And it was Dr. Fauci, Donald Trump, Operation Warp Speed with the vaccines, Bill Gates. It all came out of America. Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. You know, the woman sat on many waters. The 10 horns will hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So this great city is going to be burnt with fire and destroyed by the 10 kings. So the 10 kings, whoever these 10 kings are, this is why I think the 10 kings are Islamic from the Middle East. Because these 10 horns hate the woman sitting on the water. And they do hate America. Okay? So there's 10 horns that are going to burn her with fire. This great city. And we see here in Revelation 18, 10, 11, the kings are standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. So it's got me thinking, this great city, this woman in Revelation, is sitting on many waters. And it's a great city that sat on the waters. Okay? Now, if you look anywhere else in the world, I don't think there's greater city than New York or America. And there was quite literally a lady, a woman, sat on the water. Lady Liberty. So the woman sitting on many waters, this great city, I could be wrong, but I think it's America. Because all the trading's being done with America. All the nations were deceived by America in 2020. Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates. Yes. Donald Trump's Operation Warp Speed with all the doctors to push the vax came out of America. So all nations were deceived by her sorceries. And we're told in the future she's going to be burned with fire in 1 hour. Judgment's going to come. Because whoever these 10 kings are, these 10 horns on the beast, which I think are from the Middle East, whoever these 10 horns are, these 10 kings, destroy this great city. Is that through World War III? Is that going to be a war? So there's going to be 10 kings that are going to burn this great city on the waters. Could be with nuclear bombs. Could be bombs. I don't know. Could be China when they want to take over Taiwan. Russia. You know, it could be 10 kings that are going to destroy this great city sat on many waters. Whoever the 10 kings are. And I find it very interesting that this city is a great city full of wealth and trade and riches. And all the kings get on with this city because they weep and mourn when they see her burning, standing afar off. Well, what great city is sat on the waters? America. And we see in all the movies of the apocalypse movies, 2012, it was America. San Andreas, it was America. The Day After Tomorrow, it was America. Okay? Terminator 2 Judgment Day, when Los Angeles gets hit with a nuclear bomb, was America. All of the movies are showing the destruction of America. Kurt Russell escaped from LA, escaped from New York. The list goes on and on and on of the fall and destruction of America. So the great city sat on many waters, I think, is America, which means she's going to be destroyed. When we hear talks about Trump being the final president, Trump saying there won't be any more elections, or Christians won't have to vote again after this second term. When we hear that, it might be because Trump understands the Bible and he knows there isn't going to be an America. I don't know, just a thought. If America's mystery Babylon, she will be destroyed in 1 hour by the 10 kings. So in Revelation 18:2-3, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, this is an angel, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Let me ask you this question. Where are all the super wealthy, rich, trillionaires and billionaires? They're in America. So why are all these billionaires and trillionaires building bunkers, doomsday bunkers, in New Zealand and Argentina, places outside of America? What do they know is coming to America? Because they're building bunkers outside of the country. Okay? So Babylon is going to fall. Once this great city is destroyed, we get a warning from an angel. Revelation 14:9-11. This is after Babylon, the great city sat on many waters, is destroyed by the 10 kings, burning in fire. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worships the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So what's going to happen is, Babylon is fallen. This great city that all the nations have got rich with is going to be destroyed in 1 hour with fire. Probably a nuclear bomb or something. It's going to be the 10 kings that destroy this city on the water. All the Americans are moving out of America and they're building bunkers in other countries. Which indicates to me and tells me that America might be destroyed in the future, but I don't know for sure. We know that there is a great city on water that is going to be destroyed. But then after that city falls, we're going to get a warning from an angel not to take the mark of the beast in the hand or the head, or worship his image, which is clearly going to be in the Middle East somewhere. And I think the Islamic nations, Trump is setting this up for himself in the Middle East with all of the nations. Saudi Arabia, the Board of Peace, the Abraham Accords, meeting Syria, Lebanon, going to Israel. Trump is taking over the Middle East. The reason he's doing it is because the great city is going to fall. And then the beast is going to be revealed in the Middle East, I believe, when he's forcing the mark and a new digital economy and a persecution of the Christians. And it's all going to come together when this great city is destroyed. Okay? Jesus says, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her plagues, for her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. So, he's telling people to come out of this great city that sat on many waters, which is called Mystery Babylon. Just look at America, guys. Does that not look like a city like Sodom and Gomorrah? Does that not look like Babylon to you? Tall buildings built. It is, guys. I think it's Mystery Babylon sat on many waters, so it's going to be destroyed. And we hear people saying that Trump's the final president. And Trump's like, oh, shall I run for a third term? Or Trump said, when I'm done doing what I'm doing here, I'm going to go over to Israel and be Prime Minister because he's got a 99% vote. He's already planning to move to the Middle East and be Prime Minister in Israel. Having this Board of Peace with the Middle East under him. Because I think Donald Trump's the Antichrist. And once this Mystery Babylon, once this woman is destroyed, God's going to judge this great city. Because this great city has been deceiving the nations through sorceries, the music industry, the entertainment industry, the medicine, all of it is from America. The United Nations is in New York, America, where they had that beast statue. It's all from America. His judgment is going to come on America using the 10 kings to destroy her. And then the 10 kings are going to rule with the Antichrist in the Middle East region. A new built Babylon Empire in the original land under Donald Trump, with the false prophet there working with him, with the Saudis, to behead the Christians that don't take the mark and don't worship his image. That's what I think is going to happen. I sound crazy at the minute, but I think the great city's going to fall first, then we're warned not to take his mark or worship his image, because he's going to force it on the earth when this city falls. We see here in Psalm 223, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So we can see here that the kings of the earth, the rulers of the countries, are against Jesus Christ, which means they're against believers in him as well. They're against us. They're our enemy. They're God's enemies. The kings of the earth are the enemy. Okay? Because they're going to fight Jesus Christ with all the armies united. Revelation 17:13 is talking about the same kings who are taking counsel against Jesus Christ. And these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Revelation 19:20, and I saw the beast, which is the Antichrist, who I think is Donald Trump. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So these are two men. The beast is the Antichrist that rises from the sea, America. The second is a false prophet that comes out of the earth. Okay? With two horns like a lamb, speaking as a dragon. Elon Musk / Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump in the Middle East, Israel, Prime Minister. New Babylonian Empire, two beasts. After the woman on many waters is destroyed. That's what I think is going to happen, guys. Revelation 6:15-17. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens that they've built, bunkers, and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? The rich men are in America, the great men are in America, and they're all now going over to the Middle East. Elon's going there, Trump's going there, the tech billionaires are going to the Middle East because they know America's going to get hit. And when America gets hit, they're going to be enforcing the mark of the beast and the worship of the image of the Antichrist from the Middle East over the whole earth. And we're told not to take his mark or worship his image, which is when our persecution will come, because he's going to use the 10 kings, the Islamic nations. The false prophet's the one that has us beheaded, which is something to do with Saudi Arabia. So that's why he's doing the board of peace in the Middle East. That's why he's doing the Abraham Accords with Saudi Arabia and Israel, and getting in with Syria, getting them to take over Lebanon. That's why he's doing everything he's doing. Taking over the Gaza Strip. Everything he's doing is preparing for that final 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, when he's forcing the mark and the worship of his image. Okay, guys? So these kings are going to run into doomsday bunkers. And we see these billionaires, these technocrats, all over the news and on YouTube and on all over the place. Bunkers, new billionaire obsession. They're building these luxurious doomsday bunkers underground. But what's really getting me is they're moving out of America and they're building them in New Zealand and Argentina and other countries. They're building them outside of America. So why they're not building them in it? Well, I'm sure they are building them in America as well, but why are they focusing on building them outside of the country of America? Because America could be the woman sat on many waters that's going to be destroyed. Then the beast system's going to rise under the Antichrist from the Middle East. And it's going to be a global new digital economy running out of Israel, Saudi Arabia, and all of the Islamic regions. And that's when you're going to get your persecution of the saints through the Islamic regions. But they're building bunkers, and as I just read to you, the kings and the rich men run into the dens and into the rocks of the mountains. Dens that they've built, guys, underground. Bunkers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all of the videos of the Americans and the tech billionaires trying to bring the mark of the beast system in America. So they've got data centers going up everywhere in America, flock cameras going up everywhere in America. The tech billionaires are meeting with Trump for dinner. They've met Trump for dinner. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, of the Google CEO, Tim Cook. There's many of them there. Apple, maybe, I think, was there. All of the tech giants of everything we use on our phones in our day-to-day life, they all met with Trump. Trump was the head of the table. Trump's the head of the border peace, the head of the Abraham Accords, the head of the tech giants, the head of the whole lot. Says he's going to be prime minister in Israel when he's finished with his second term. Because it ain't going to be in America, guys. I don't think there's going to be one. Come out of here, my people, lest you share in the plagues. This great city full of wealth with all these rich people on water. Celebrities, Hollywood, New York. It's America. There ain't no greater cities in America sat on water, guys. So, you're going to see now that they're trying to build the beast system in America. But what's going to happen is, I think God's judgment is going to come on America through the 10 kings. So he's going to use the 10 kings to judge that woman sat on many waters. Going to use the 10 kings to destroy this great city. Now, people say that this great city is Jerusalem. Would you say Jerusalem's greater than America? Richer than America? Would you say that Israel, Jerusalem, deceived all the nations and all the people on the planet, became drunk from her fornication? I don't know. There's a verse where it says, between Egypt and Sodom, where our Lord was crucified, but it says it's spiritually called that. I don't know. It could be Israel, but I think it's America. Katy Perry did say she's an American singer. She stood on top of a big beast, and Katy Perry's costume is fire all over her body. She's singing to the crowds. You're going to hear me roar louder than a lion, because I am a champion, and you're going to hear me roar. But she's covered in fire and flames on top of a big golden beast.
I'm gonna shake the ground, help me down, I got up, get ready 'cause I've had enough, I see it all, I see it now, I got the eye of the tiger, fighter, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder than a lion, 'cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me.
She's showing you the woman on fire riding the beast. Is she saying, I'm the woman? America's the woman on fire riding the beast. I'm telling you, I think America is Mystery Babylon, the woman that's going to fall, and then the Antichrist is going to be revealed in the Middle East, and that's it. That's when things are going to get real. Ain't going to be able to buy or sell. Last 3.5 years. And what's interesting about this is Donald Trump's second term, when does it end? Well, it ends actually in January of 2029. The same year as Apophis is coming to the earth, which I think's Wormwood, in the middle of the tribulation. Wormwood, Apophis, 2029, is the same year, 2029 of January, when Donald Trump's presidency officially ends. There ain't going to be in America. He's going to go to the Middle East and reveal himself in Israel, I think, personally. It's all lining up. Apophis in 2029. The end of Trump's presidency is January 2029. The middle of the tribulation, we've got the star falling from heaven on the waters. Wormwood. It's all 2029. Because 2029 might be the middle of the tribulation, the middle of the 7 years of Daniel's 70th week. And if 2029 is the middle of the tribulation, then the last 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, of him being revealed in the Middle East, would happen after 2029. So it would go 2030, 2031, 2032 and a half. 2032 and a half it would get us to. It all adds up on the timeline, guys. It fits. And now I want you to watch what they are trying to do in America, the mark of the beast. I think God's going to try and stop America bringing the beast system under Trump. But what's going to happen is, once that's wiped out and America's gone, an angel's going to warn the world not to take his mark or worship his image, because he's going to try and force it on the planet from the Middle East in a new global economy from there. So God's going to stop them building the beast system in America, because he's going to get thrown down. But it's going to re-emerge from the Middle East with the Islamic nations, and we're being warned not to take his mark or worship his image, because that's going to go and that's going to be stopped, and then he's going to continue in the Middle East. Probably Elon Musk too in Saudi Arabia. That's why they've been going over there, guys. That's why they built the Border Peace and the Abraham Accords and all of it. The only thing that could be standing in his way, and I thought about this recently, I don't know, Russia and Iran. Russia and Iran. Okay, Russia and Iran. This is where we're going to get the World War III, the UK fighting Russia, and America's already invaded Iran, because I think Russia and Iran, I don't know, I think they're trying to stop the New World Order. There's a reason Russia's trying to invade Ukraine and he wants to take on Europe. I think he knows that the West are under the beast. I don't know. Russia's a Christian nation. If you look at the statistics of Russia, it's majority Christian. It's funny how now they want us to attack Russia, fight Russia. I think that they're trying to stop this beast system, this New World Order, from emerging, from coming. And I think once they're removed, once they're dealt with, that's it. They can build this new Babylon from the Middle East. It's not going to happen though, guys, because it's not going to happen because he only has 3.5 years. Jesus comes and captures him, throws him in a lake of fire. So he's not going to get far. He's got 3.5 years. He's got 3.5 years to do this. And then he's thrown into hell. So it's 3.5 years. It's such a short time. But watch these videos, right? Watch these videos and you're going to see what they're trying to build in America. So they're depopulating, they're deceiving the nations through sorcery medicine. It's a great city sat on many waters. It's enforcing this mark people buying and selling with their hands and stuff. So, and it's the rich men, the mighty men, the rich men, the kings, the rich men are from America. Check it out. Watch this to the end. They're trying to bring the beast system in America, but I think it's going to be stopped and then re-emerge in the Middle East.
I asked the top scientists on this several times, do we really have to get down to near zero? Can't we just, cut it in half or a quarter? And the answer is that until we get near to zero, the temperature will continue to rise. And so that's a big challenge. It's very different than saying, we're a 12-foot high truck trying to get under a 10-foot bridge and we can just sort of squeeze under. This is something that has to get to zero. Now, we put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to zero. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to zero. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year, and it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down, and so we can feel great about saving those lives.
If you're a tech fan, get ready to ditch your phone. Bill Gates says the smartphone era is over. The next big thing, it's a high-tech tattoo. That's right, say goodbye to screens and hello to electronic tattoos. Imagine sending texts, browsing the web, and checking your heart rate just by tapping your arm. Crazy, right? These tattoos use smart ink and tiny nanocapacitors. So no bulky gadgets, no buttons to press, just pure sci-fi vibes. Bill Gates thinks these invisible wearables could wipe out phones forever. But wait, what about privacy? If all your info is on your skin, who keeps it safe? Could your tattoo get hacked? Sounds wild, but it's a real risk. Still, the perks are wild. Instant health tracking, no more lost devices, and maybe, just maybe, a less distracting life.
Christina Wyo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Bill Gates has unveiled his global digital ID and digital currency that he says are necessary to grant people access to financial services, healthcare, education, and elections. But critics say that people won't be able to engage in basic societal services if they are deemed non-compliant and will be erased from society. Gates asserts that once digital ID and currency are accepted by all, nothing can or will be done with traditional systems. However, many are warning about the system of digital control that will be be managed by Gates, the UN, and the global elite to build what they call the model of the future, with a plan to merge banking, voting, medical, and vaccination records into one digital footprint. Britain has already introduced a mandatory digital ID. In China, people have to scan their faces to buy food or claim their pensions.
Amazon.com is never going to have any of that tactile stuff. We're never going to have any, cafes or lattes or anything like that. But we can make Amazon.com every bit as fun and engaging as a good physical bookstore. It's just it'll be different.
One good example of using an electronic mall effectively is something called Amazon.com. This virtual shop claims to be the world's largest bookstore.
Like any other bookshop, this store has shelves, but they are not for browsing. It has a cash register of sorts, but no one is waiting in line to pay. That's because Amazon.com does all of its business over the internet. And while the surroundings aren't luxurious, the selection is impressive.
What makes us different is vast selection, convenience. We deliver right to the desktop, and also the fact that we're the broadest discounters in the world. We discount over 300,000 titles, basically the best-selling titles, and those are, that's twice as many titles as the largest physical bookstore even offers.
With over 1 million titles on hand, the company claims to be the biggest bookshop on Earth, or about 6 times larger than the biggest physical bookstore.
If our catalog were printed on paper, it would be the size of 7 New York City phone books.
Over Apple Pay, Amazon is trying to muscle its way into your digital wallet.
Amazon is ramping up its contactless payment system nationwide that works by scanning the palm of your hand right there. Kit Doe takes it for a test drive.
So the new payment systems have been rolling out across the country for the past year. Finally, here in the Bay Area, we get our very first one, and it launched this morning.
You really gotta hand it to Amazon.
Will you be paying with your palm today?
For trying to put the future of payments right in the palm of your,
Right there, perfect.
It's called Amazon One, a new contactless payment system that launched for the first time in Northern California at their store in Santana Row. To sign up, first insert a credit card and then hold your hand over the special camera. It'll scan the lines, ridges, and even pattern of veins inside your hand. The algorithm then creates a unique palm signature. The whole process takes about a minute.
And you can just hold your hand right over it?
Tommy Alas was the first person in the Bay Area to sign up.
What'd you think?
I think it was really cool, very convenient form of payment, just quick and easy.
Liz Gonzalez thinks the new technology could come in handy. That was easy.
There you go.
People like me, I'm very forgetful. I always forget my credit card or my watch, and now I don't need to remember to bring my palm.
If anyone can get this popular, it'll be Amazon.
Ian Scher with CNET says all signs point to this new technology as being safe and reliable. In the past year, the company has rolled out the palm scanners to 60 locations around the country, including mobile ticketing for a concert venue in Denver and a number of Whole Foods locations. But for consumers, old habits die hard.
The reality is that a lot of introducing new technology is convincing people to use it. And how much easier is it to use than just pulling out my credit card and paying that way? But we Americans are very hesitant to jump on this stuff. And so I am curious to see whether or not it's really going to end up going anywhere with us, or whether we're going to wait until some other technology comes along.
If you don't have your wallet, there's no problem. Just scan your palm to pay.
Amazon One is a payment system that has been tested at several stores around the Bay Area, and now it may be coming to a grocery store near you.
Ground Force Justin Campbell has more on how it works and the privacy concerns.
Just out of your palm real quick.
We may scan it.
I hope you don't use that.
The idea of using your palm to pay doesn't feel right for this Whole Foods customer, but others like the idea.
I don't know who else can get into my palm really, but I'm not really against it.
The technology coming to the Bay Area Whole Foods stores over the next few weeks works like this.
Amazon says no two palms are alike. They use vision technology. You hold your hand above the device, which scans and takes less than a minute to create a palm signature. Your palm is connected to your credit card online, so whenever you want to pay, all you have to do is hover your palm.
Too intense. It's a little crazy.
This customer is worried about privacy.
I think using your DNA and stuff is just too much to give out.
There's a lot of different variables that need to be considered.
Ralph Aceves with Hacker Strike says in general the technology is safe, but he does have concerns.
The data that is being downloaded from the cloud to be able to know who you are based on your palm, stored in the device.
Amazon says palm images are not stored on the device. The images are encrypted and sent to the cloud. Aceves' other concern is phishing.
For example, at a grocery store, there's no one around, and someone could potentially replace that scanning device with a fake scanning device, just like they do today with credit card readers, right?
Aceves says he believes the technology is the future because it's convenient for consumers.
Not my palm? Jeez, come on.
Reporting in San Jose, Justin Campbell, Cron 4 News.
This is Meta Ray-Ban Display. These are glasses with the classic style that you'd expect from Ray-Ban, but they're the first AI glasses with a high-resolution display and a whole new way to interact with them. The Meta Neural Band. That's this guy. All right, now, the display is large enough to watch a video or, read a thread of messages. It appears in one eye, it's slightly off center so it doesn't block your view. It is very high resolution and very bright. I mean like 42 pixels per degree, which is sharper than any major headset that's out there, and up to 5,000 nits of brightness. So it is crisp whether you're indoors or outdoors on the sunniest day. And then there's the neural interface, the Meta Neural Band. So for the glasses, we're replacing the keyboard, mouse, touchscreen, buttons, dials, with the ability to send signals from your brain with little muscle movements that the neural band will pick up so you can silently control your glasses with barely perceptible movements. We have built a neural interface into a durable, lightweight, comfortable, and good-looking wristband. We wanted to make it really easy to send and receive messages. So it's good to just be able to type without anyone seeing, and so now I'm going to be able to open up Meta AI with a subtle tap that you're probably not even going to see. Play California Dreamin'.
From Spotify, here's California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas.
All right, and if I want to adjust the volume, I act like there's a volume control in front of me, and I can just turn it, and there we go. With the Ray-Ban Metas, they're going to be able to turn up the volume on a friend, but with the display, you could do even better. You can put subtitles on the world.
Yeah, let me get it going right now.
All right.
We're ready for it.
If you have an issue hearing, then I think that this is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I agree, and it's also cool, it can do translation. So if I'm talking to somebody who speaks a different language than me, I'll get a translation in my native language right on the display, real life subtitles.
All right, should we show the camera? Let's do it. All right, so let me just go ahead and pull up the camera. I got a lot of missed calls from you.
Yeah. I don't
know what happened.
I was trying to call you.
I don't know what happened.
Were you busy?
Yeah, all right. All right, what should we take? You got some sick shoes, man.
Some Alex Albert Oakley.
Yeah,
here.
there you go. All right. I'll take some photos. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a video.
Thank you.
Say hi. You want to wave? All right, there you go. Pretty amazing new things. The last thing that I want to show is a glimpse of how this is going to work with agentic AI. In every conversation, there are normally like 5 things that you want to follow up on. The promise of glasses and AI is that they're going to help with this over time. So you just start a live AI session, and the glasses are going to be able to see what you see, hear what you hear, and they're going to be able to go off and think about it and then come back and help you. The glasses are going to come in 2 colors. They're going to come in black and sand, and you are going to be able to buy the set for $7.99 in stores where you can get demos as well on September 30th.
A new brain chip developed by one of Elon Musk's companies is being described as a game changer. The chip is being trialled internationally and allows patients to control and manipulate laptops and other devices with the power of their mind.
Only a handful of people in the world have been implanted with a brain chip made by Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, and I'm about to meet one of the first people in the UK to get one.
It's a massive change in your life where you can suddenly no longer move any of your limbs, and this kind of technology kind of gives you a new piece of hope.
Though he's paralysed from the neck down, Sebastian Gomez Peña can now control his laptop and phone using just his mind. You have this power of telepathy, effectively, and I'm just fascinated to find out how that feels.
Everyone in my position tries to move something in their body to see if there is any form of recovery. But now I think I'll move my hand to the right, to the left, think about clicking my fingers, and the technology just understands what I want to do, and it does it. Yeah.
You wouldn't even know the chip was there until it needs a daily charge.
There's a button there. If you click it, it should turn on the charger. If you hold it to my head right there, this means this is how we charge it.
So I'm charging the chip.
That is exactly what you're doing.
A keen rugby player and musician, Seb had just finished his first term at medical school when he made one ill-judged dive off a boat on holiday.
When I dived, I hit the floor and hit my head, and alongside breaking my neck also broke my front 2 teeth, and yeah, that's how I started.
But it ended up with Seb enrolling in the first UK trial of the Neuralink device, a 5-hour operation performed largely by robot, which, through a hole in his skull, inserted threads 1/10 the thickness of a human hair, connecting 1,000 electrodes to the part of his brain that controls hand movements.
It makes the experience a lot better.
This is the first time his doctors have seen him since the device was switched on.
I can do this, move the mouse around, and that helps. That's really good control. And that helps. This helps me practice to use it faster, and it also helps the computer calibrate whatever I'm thinking to where the mouse is moving.
The brain surgeons are impressed. You have also got used to your phone?
Yeah.
I'm blown away. It does seem quite magical.
No, some people would put it to the side of magic. It looks magical and it feels magical. So yeah, you could compare it to that.
Today was the first time I actually see him use it, and it was mind-blowing.
This is a feasibility trial intended to show the device and the surgery is safe and that it works. So far, it looks good.
This technology is going to be a game changer for patients with severe neurological disability. And those patients have very little really to improve their independence. I mean, especially now that we live in a world where we are so dependent on our technology.
Neuralink, which allowed us to access the trial but didn't want to be interviewed, now confirmed 21 people have been fitted with the device, including 7 in the UK. Some users are able to train the AI that interprets their brain signals to type on a virtual keyboard, even control a robotic arm, or just played with their children.
Oh, you smoke, man. 3.
This early trial is focused on decoding hand movements. Another looks to restore speech in those who've lost it due to stroke or brain injury. Neuralink also has plans to help the blind by targeting the brain's vision centers. The company's controversial founder promises even more.
As we advance the Neuralink devices, you should be able to actually have full body control and sensors from an Optimus robot. So you could basically inhabit an Optimus robot. The future is going to be weird, but pretty cool.
Weird, and with it, serious questions about future users' safety and privacy. but a way off. Neuralink still needs to do larger trials and share its data with the public to prove these devices are safe and effective long term. Elon Musk, whatever you think of him, does have a record of success. But in this endeavour, he depends on brave, determined volunteers like Seb to deliver it. Tom Clark, Sky News, London.
I'll be honest, of all the things you do and all the companies you run, I think it's all awesome. The one thing that does concern me, and I know concerns a lot of people out there, so I do have to bring it up, which is Neuralink.
Sure.
So, firstly, can you explain what Neuralink is and what the goal of it is?
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Concerns not alleviated.
Yeah, there you go. Jump right in. Step right up. Who wants one?
You really did not have to look very far at all at the inauguration to see that it was a who's who of Bay Area tech tycoons. Our Kelsey Thor takes a closer look at the tech industry's shift to embrace a second Trump term. From Meta's Mark Zuckerberg to Apple's Tim Cook, along with Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Tesla's Elon Musk, the titans of America's tech industry were all on hand for President Donald Trump's swearing in.
Silicon Valley has been powerful for 5 decades now. It's not some out of the way, know nothing. It's a very powerful industry, but it's never been so involved at the highest levels of government.
Jason Brooks, the anchor of Money Watch on KCBS Radio, says he's not surprised to see the tech industry's biggest names cozying up with the new administration.
For a long time, the tech industry just held on to these old norms with we're going to do things our way and we don't want to be concerned about politics or social issues and things like that. But tech is too big for that now.
Jason says the relationship Elon Musk has been able to forge with President Trump has shown many in the industry the power a close connection with the president could have.
I think these other CEOs of these very influential and powerful tech companies could see that Elon Musk is getting some favor perhaps from Donald Trump. To speed up regulations for self-driving cars. And the robotaxi is an incredibly important part of Tesla's business.
But not everyone is too happy about these tech execs trying to get close with the president. State Senator Scott Wiener, a Democrat, posted this photo on X, along with the caption, quote, "The oligarchs gather and so starts the looting of America." Jason told us some concern is merited.
There are concerns, obviously, when you have very powerful, very wealthy people getting the ear of the president and having the ability to have a bigger piece of the president's time than many other people would, most other people ever would. You have to be concerned that, of course, they're going to be asking for things that naturally benefit themselves first.
Jason says it's still too soon to know exactly how much influence the tech industry may have within the Trump administration, and in turn, what that could then mean for the industry as a whole. But what he does know is that whatever happens, it will most likely have an impact, not just here in Silicon Valley, but nationwide.
It's got to be reciprocal because I do think that tech is going to sense this door is opening and they're not going to want it to ever shut. They want to be fully in with the decisions that'll affect the country and, of course, them as well.
Thank you for incredible leadership, including getting this group together.
Thank you, Bill. That's very nice.
All of the companies here are making huge investments in the country in order to build out data centers and infrastructure to power the next wave of innovations.
I think it's a real incredible inflection point right now in AI, and the fact that your administration is supporting our companies instead of fighting with them.
This is a most incredible time. AI is going to change everything. You hear all of us saying that.
I want to thank you for setting the tone such that we could make a major investment in the United States.
Hard work, I think, driving that agenda.
So we're into 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? We achieved more in 6 months than
almost any administration could accomplish in 8 years, and we're going to have a lot of good 6 months left. We're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, and we'll keep going. And we're going to really do something.
We're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, and we'll keep going.
He had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as will not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Let's break that down. He deceives those that are on the earth with miracles. Elon Musk says he's going to put a Neuralink in your brain. I've been saying this for years. Recently, the guy says he can do Jesus level miracles. The lame will walk, the deaf will see, the deaf will hear, the blind will see. Okay? He says he's going to put a Neuralink in your brain. They will be able to download your brain, and he can actually give you everlasting life. So if you die, they will put your brain in an Optimus. They can create a new body and put your brain in that body, and you will continue to live because it was downloaded, your memory and everything was downloaded. So practically, Elon Musk is promising people everlasting life. Then he says that, he's going to do this, and he's going to affect your limbic system and your cortex. Sometimes they use big, cute grammar, and people don't know what that means. Your limbic system controls your emotions. Your cortex controls your thinking. What is your mind, emotions, and your thinking? Your soul. So Elon Musk is basically telling people that I'm going to put a Neuralink in your brain and I'll take control of your soul. See? Let that sink in. Yuval Harari Noah says humans are hackable animals. That COVID was a time when we accepted for surveillance to go under our skin. And he says we can hack them. And my question is that if you are part of humans, why would you say you can hack them? I'm telling you, the Nephilims of today, they look like you and I.
I believe that.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly?
I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Advancing very fast. But can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves.
Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over.
Over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Johnson Company claims it will be the first in the country to implant microchips in most of its employees. The technology is already being used in Europe. It replaces ID cards used to open doors and operate office equipment. But as Jamie Yukas reports, the tiny chips raising some concerns about privacy.
By next week, more than 50 Three Square Market employees will have bionic hands with a credit card chip implanted near their wrist. You just swipe your hand.
Basically, it's a serial number that is assigned to your credit card.
The company is offering the chips, which cost about $300 a piece, to its employees for free. The owner, Todd Westby, his wife, and 2 children will also be getting microchipped. You're not going to be tracking your employees around town to see what they're up to and what they're doing.
No, we will not. It's for entrance to the building, logging into computers, making purchases in our break room market, things of that nature.
Employees will now have 2 ways to get into the building. They can either use the traditional keypad with their ID number, or if they're microchipped, they can just use their hands and swipe. That will allow them to open the door. 3 Square Market makes vending machines with credit card chip readers. Experts wonder if this is all a publicity stunt and worry about the loss of privacy.
You want someone knowing every time you enter or leave a room or use a copy machine. There's a degree of autonomy that's lost with this, person-to-person, one-to-one tracking. You can never leave it behind. You can't really turn it off.
3 Square Market is working with a Swedish company to implant the microchips in its employees. Everyone wants to know how big it is. That's it, the size of a grain of rice. I'm told a professional piercer is the one who actually has to put it in. To take it out, though, it's like removing a sliver. The pain factor, by the way, is like getting your ears pierced.
I'm at Whole Foods and I'm about to pay for my groceries with my... That's the coolest thing ever.
We're in China, and this is how advanced that cashless payment is in this country. Right, so now I'm going to pay for it. I've left my phone and my card at home. I've actually got nothing. Can't pay.
Hello. How are you guys? Good, you okay?
Not bad. £77 3 pence, yeah?
Yes, that's right, yes. Okay. Doesn't work. Oh, there we go.
How do you do it?
Magic.
Huh?
Magic.
Oh, magic.
So, that's just my thought on it. It seems to me like they're bringing the beast system, and the Americans are waking up to it. And the whole world's waking up to it. Everyone's complaining about the cost of living, the food prices, the wars, the Strait of Hormuz and everything. Everything is to do with the beast being revealed. They're setting up his beast system. They're going to try it in America. But I don't think they're going to succeed in America. But he's going to succeed for 3.5 years before he's thrown into hell. Okay, he said we're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, and we'll keep going. We'll keep going. We'll keep chipping them. We'll keep chipping them. They're chipping the planet. And the planet's they're being deceived. It says in Revelation that the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet that deceived those who had received the mark of the beast. So they do get deceived into taking the mark of the beast, and those who worshipped his image. There are going to be people who are deceived into taking that implant in the head and the hand. And as you've just seen, they already are. They already are. Just like that. Yeah, we'll take it. Can't wait to have that. Could be the mark of the beast. They might be being deceived. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to be saved, you need to believe in the gospel of Christ's death, burial and resurrection for the full payment of your sins. Written in 1 Corinthians 15:3-4. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the 3rd day according to the Scriptures. Okay, we've been promised eternal life. Anyone who believes in Jesus will have eternal life. He's promised us. But we must not take the mark of the beast or worship his image if we're in the tribulation. We must not take that mark, because there's no forgiveness for those who take the mark or worship his image. It says it here in Revelation 14. It says that you will drink the wine of the wrath of God, smoke your torment with the sun forever, those who worship the beast and take his mark in the forehead or hand. So you can't be forgiven if you take the mark. There will be a warning anyway. There's going to be a warning. There's going to be angels warning. There's going to be the everlasting gospel being preached. There's going to be the 2 witnesses as well. The 2 witnesses. So, you know, there is going to be warnings to the earth. There's going to be warnings for the planet. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video anyway. This is probably going to be the only one I do today because it's a long one. It took me a few hours to do. So I hope you'll all be blessed wherever you are in the world. And yeah, God bless you all.
Go ahead. You had talked a couple of weeks ago, you were doing an interview, and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, you know, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
I'm never going to make it to heaven. I just don't think I qualify. I don't think there's a thing I can do, but all of these good things I'm doing, including for religion, you know, religion's back now hotter than ever before. I mean, I have to tell you. But I said, even though I did that and so many other things, I named things, I said, I won't qualify. I'm not going to make it to heaven.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what 1 or 2 of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm not Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister. So maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%. So that's good.
Achieve more in 6 months than almost any administration could accomplish in 8 years, and we're going to have a lot of good 6 months left. We're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, so we'll keep going, and we're going to really do something.
We're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, so we'll keep going.